Listen, before I look at the Trump speech, I just wanted to say something. Okay. I love this country a lot. And as a patriot, I'm a little frustrated that an insurrectionist who has no meaningful policy has become president. But also, as a patriot, I genuinely hope that he does well. I mean that genuinely and authentically. I really hope that he does well. I hope that at the very least we can kind of cast away this conspiracy theory narrative that there's some kind of a shadow government trying to get Trump not elected, mostly because he was elected twice now. If that government existed, then I don't think he would have gotten it the first time, and certainly wouldn't have gotten it the second time. And so hopefully we can at least put the conspiracy narratives to rest. That's the thing that I'm hoping more than anything else, is we can kind of move forward and we can remove the conspiracy narrative. And that's my number one hope. We can at least live in the same reality. That would be great, you know. And again, I hope Trump does well. That being said, this is the second time Trump is going to inherit a pretty good economy. And I know people are going to get like upset about that because they feel like Biden's economy wasn't good, and I will elaborate. But the first time he inherited Obama's economy, Obama brought us out of the worst recession since the Great Depression. The economy was doing better. We were lowering our deficit, and our numbers were looking better and better. Just so people know, like, what a deficit is that's the amount of money we spend over what we take in from taxes. Obama inherited like a $1.3 trillion annual federal deficit. He got it down to about $650 billion. That's great. Trump came in to a decent economy and, in my opinion, unnecessarily cut taxes and surged our deficit before COVID even hit. Which I think it was kind of time to buckle down and get our shit together. Unfortunately, we didn't. But what I will say is I think a lot of that's because people are feeling the squeeze. And I think people are feeling the squeeze now, and nobody really knows why they're feeling the squeeze. It's technology. I just want people to at least put some stuff in their brain. That's what my goal is, to put this in your brain, that technology is displacing jobs and driving down wages. And it is great. Who doesn't love technology? It puts things at your fingertips. It makes things cheaper, makes things easier, more convenient, but it also does displace jobs. There are factories that are cutting 80% of their staff because now they can replace that with machines. You can't go to a supermarket anymore without seeing a self-checkout. That's one person watching 8 self-checkouts. That's a lot of jobs that are being lost. Sure, there are some new jobs being created that are higher paying to help facilitate the creation and maintenance of these robotics or these technologies, but it's not as many jobs as we're losing. Overall, this is more money surging to the top. And that's one of the things that it makes me a little apprehensive about the Trump massive 20% tariff, because even if it works and we bring jobs back to America, they're mostly going to be low-skill labor jobs, because we do a lot of end-of-production factory jobs here. But it's mostly going to be low-skill labor jobs, and who's to say that it's going to create American jobs and not just line the pockets of rich people that own factories, because these jobs are easy to automate. Now, the Trump economy, the Biden economy. I know people, this is where I feel like maybe Harris failed, because Biden's economy this past year is pretty decent, but it was rough for a while. And I truly think that part of the problem is that we exist, and this is how it is for American politics at least. Maybe it's for every politics, I don't know. We exist in an area where we never get honest information. We get factual information, but it's always dishonest. And I know that sounds weird, but I want to explain. Most of the time, it's not flat out lying. You know, there's times where, like, Trump will claim that Biden withheld FEMA money for the latest hurricane, even though Biden gave that instantaneously. That's an outright lie, but there are narratives that are pushed based on facts, but those narratives don't necessarily align with the facts. And this is the thing that I think that Kamala Harris failed on. She needed to change that, or this is what we need as a people. And what I mean by that is this. Think about this. One of the things that Biden was saying a lot was like, we added such and such amount of jobs, our economy surged under my policies, et cetera, et cetera. But that is a fact. But when you look into it, well, why did that happen? It came out of COVID. It's kind of I feel like maybe it's kind of easy to add, you know, an extraordinarily high number of jobs when nobody was working for a long time. That's one example of that. Another example is when Trump says that the Democrats have an open border policy and everybody's pouring through the borders, and this is clearly what they want. And they ended, a protocol that he implemented under his presidency. But the reality is that protocol was implemented because of COVID, which shut us down. And then after that protocol was no longer required or allowed because we didn't have an emergency scenario, people were surging through the border, right? People seeking asylum. And that's a conversation we have to have about fixing our asylum seeking process, making it faster so we can identify the people who are allowed to seek asylum and some people who are taking advantage of it and get it out of here sooner than 2 years. Because this takes so long that people, they get processed and then they kind of get, put out into our, our economy, and they could disappear. It makes it easy. If we could expedite that process, that would be something. And if we could kind of tighten up on who's allowed in on that process. But you see how like this information, very basic information, gets sensationalized and weaponized towards different sides. And ultimately, I think that that's what we need to focus on as a group of people, is having higher expectations of our government to talk to us like we're people. Nobody is. Harris wasn't talking to us like we were people. Trump wasn't talking to us like we were really people. They were talking to us through sensationalized rhetoric. And just to be clear, I'm not saying Trump and Harris are on the same level, because Trump is exponentially worse than Harris. Harris is qualified. But this is a common problem that we have. And we need to expect higher of our politicians. If Kamala Harris came in and said, listen, the economy was rough for a little while because we were engaging, especially between Ukraine and Russia, and we had to defend our ally. And that put a lot of economic stress on us. And that was frustrating. And that kicked our ass. But we needed to do that to maintain a positive presence around the world and a show of power to our allies around the world, because you need to do that to maintain our influence and to maintain confidence with our allies that we trade with, which is a positive thing. We need to maintain strength, because if it's not us, if we're not policing the world, as we say it, it'll be Russia or China. They do not have free elections. They do not have freedom of speech. Okay, Putin's been president for like 20 years. You do not want to live there. We like to pretend that those places are better. A lot of far left-leaning people love to jerk off China. A lot of far-right people love to jerk off Russia. They're both garbage countries. We need to maintain that presence, and it had a negative impact on us, and it was rough, but we are doing better now. If we had heard something like that, I feel like maybe we would have been in a better spot. Maybe people would have felt a little bit more confidence in voting for an more honest person. Nowadays, every single time you hear a bit of information, regardless of what that politician says it, you have to parse that through the reality, because they are taking a fact and they are going to sensationalize that, and they're going to filter that through whatever narrative they're trying to push. And that's the unfortunate reality. And so maybe moving forward, let's hope that we have a good presidency, and let's hope that we can get some more honest politicians, right? That's really my only hope moving forward. So, all right, let's watch this. Let's watch the speech. Okay. Well, I do like a good USA chant, I will say.
Well, I want to thank you all very much.
Oh, Lord.
These are our friends. We have thousands of friends in this.
Oh, this is our president.
There's a movement like nobody's ever seen before.
Yeah, abolish the electoral college. Well, I mean, the biggest case of DEI is when a conservative president loses the popular vote, but then still wins. It still wins the country. So maybe we do need to remove DEI narratives, guys.
And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond.
Well, that might be true. That might be true.
And now
I wonder, did she win the popular vote?
New level of importance, because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And
when he says we're going to fix our borders, I don't trust that he knows what the problem at the border is. I think we all know on a very reduced level what the problem at the border is that there are too many people coming through the border. That's just like a reality. Wow, she lost the popular vote too? Damn! Well, I guess. W Trump, I guess. I think we all understand that there are too many people coming through the border, but the reality is that it's asylum seekers. It's not really illegal immigrants. It's people that are seeking asylum. And like a wall really isn't going to do anything about it, because as long as there's a law that says you can seek asylum, all they have to do is come up to the wall and say, "Hi, we're here. you know, and you have to process them. And so I don't think a wall is the best way to go. Again, we never got this explanation, in my opinion, from like Harris. And this is like, I think, a failure from the Harris campaign. It was too much focused on like hating Trump rather than like, hey, here's like the reality of the world. And so there's two things we have to do. One, we have to look at that policy, the policy of accepting people. The word like escapes me. I just said it like 5 times. Asylum seekers, and see where maybe there's some areas in there that shouldn't anymore. Maybe we need to tighten that up. But the bigger place is we need to expedite the process. It takes years to get through that process, and by the time you come in, whether your claim is false or not, it's hard to get you out. You've been here for a couple of years, and so we need to expedite that. I personally believe we have a responsibility as Americans to accept asylum seekers. A lot of times we will destabilize other countries in a way as we try to push our influence in the world, and I believe in pushing our influence in the world. Like I said, it's either us, China, or Russia, and we're the best ones. But we do destabilize countries sometimes. We should help those people if they have a valid claim, not just if they're poor, but if there's also like a legitimate valid claim. But then also we do brain drain other countries. If we're only accepting the best, which typically means people that are highly educated and have money from other people's countries, that doesn't exactly leave those countries with the best and the brightest. The people who move our country forward more than anything else are intellectual leaders. We also are the lifeblood, of course. Like we'll do the jobs, truck driving, a huge lifeblood, like big job, bus driving, different, jobs like that. That's the lifeblood of our economy. But at the end of the day, without those intellectual movers, we don't exactly make progress. And so when you take those intellectual movers out of other people's countries, you have a negative impact on their country. And so I think that we should generally accept asylum seekers. Thank you for the $2 from Laptop Monkey. I live in West Europe. Should I be concerned? I don't know, maybe. So
we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
It's crazy. Thank you for $5 from Antares. Kamala's hair went from balding to budding. She's a new Benjamin Button. Okay. Incredible meme. Thank you. Thank you for $10 from Defiant. I hope for your success. I know people will be starved of reasonable politics. Trump sucks, but maybe you will be able to crash out and make a difference too. Let it be known. Own. I'm a longtime gooner. Incredible. Maybe. Hey, maybe this is what it is. Maybe that'll be what happens. I'll do my audio's low. Sorry. I got you guys. Don't worry.
But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
Okay.
And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Nice. Every single day, I will be fighting for you.
I just hope he doesn't do any like anti-democrat language. Like let's just come together. Let's at least do that. Give me a win.
With
give me a win
in my body. I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
Okay.
This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again.
Okay.
And in addition to having won the battleground states of North Carolina, I love these places, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, we are now winning in Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Alaska, which would result in us carrying at least 315 electoral votes. But it's much easier doing what the networks did or whoever called it, because there was no other path. There was no other path to victory. We also have won the popular vote. That was great.
Wow. That's honestly impressive that he won the popular vote there. Thank you for the $2 from Defiant. Papa got 2028. Yeah, right, maybe.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And, winning the popular vote was very nice, very nice, I will tell you. It's a great feeling of love. We have a great feeling of love in this very large room.
He's a master of beating women, guys.
With unbelievable people standing by my side. These people have been incredible. They've made the journey with me, and we're going to make you very...
I don't really think it's that crazy that he won the Hispanic, like that he did better with Hispanic people and like some minority groups. I mean, I don't think it's that surprising to me. Listen, I said it before the segment. I'll say it one more time, and I'm going to say it as nicely as possible. Well, first of all, there are a lot of very conservative Hispanic groups, like Latino groups, but also, man, any religious group, and Black and Hispanic people tend to be more religious. If you look into it, they tend to not have a particularly positive outlook on women. And I'm not saying that this is a quality inherent to Black people or Hispanic people, but this is unfortunately a quality that a lot of religious people maintain, is that they don't necessarily see women as leaders or capable. So I'm not exactly surprised. I mean, I'm not saying it's the only reason Kamala lost, but I think it is a factor as to why she lost. She's a Black woman. Especially I think that there are some people who don't feel particularly inspired by the fact that she's a woman. The Black part, I don't even think necessarily matters. So.
Very happy. We're going to make you very proud of your vote. I hope that you're going to be looking back someday and say that was one of the truly important moments of my life when I voted for this group of people beyond the president, this group of great people. America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate. We have taken back control of the Senate. Wow, that's good.
Yeah, I think he's going to have control of the Senate and the House like he did in his first term. And, hopefully he passes positive, meaningful legislation, because that's something he failed to do when he first got in, is he had a stacked House and Senate, and he didn't really pass anything. It would have been nice if he could have fixed the ACA. As he said he would. He couldn't. Healthcare is ridiculous. My healthcare numbers this year, I'm going to be paying an extra $20 more a month with an increased $3,500 deductible, which is insane. So healthcare is out of control. But
and the Senate races in Montana, Nevada, Texas, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, were all won by the MAGA movement. They helped so much. And in those cases, every one of them, we worked with the senators. They were tough races. And I mean, the number of victories in the Senate was absolutely incredible. And we did tele-rallies. We did tele-rallies with each one of them. And sometimes we did 2 or 3 and it was amazing to look at all of those victories. Nobody expected that. Nobody.
Do I think that the tariffs are going to pass? No, I mean, probably not. I think that everybody understands that massive tariffs are going to destroy they're going to destroy the country. So
I just wanted to thank you very much for that. And you have some great...
it's possible that Trump has very high expectations for some of his policies, or he doesn't understand or he just is proposing outlandish shit that'll never pass so that he can say, hey, everybody tried to block me. But I can't imagine in a world where we're going to pass a flat 10, 20, 30% tariffs without any meaningfulness to it, like trying to, secure a better trade deal, because it's a bad economic policy and it will destroy middle-class America.
Senators and some great new senators. And it also looks like...
What I think he'll probably flounder for a while, and he'll try to use his executive authority to pass stuff, and he's probably not going to get a whole lot done.
We'll be keeping control of the House of Representatives.
Tariffs don't have to pass through Congress. Oh, if that's the case, then I guess we're fucked. Thank you so much for the $5 from a Logo Cipher. That's it for Fuentes elections. U.S. citizens should be required to take IQ tests if eligible for voting. No, I don't think that's necessarily true. That's a silly thing to say.
Representative. And I want to thank Mike Johnson. I think he's doing a terrific job. Terrific job. I want to also thank my beautiful wife, Melania, First Lady. who has the #1 best-selling book in the country. Can you believe that?
I feel like tariffs do have to pass the House. No?
Oh, no, she's done a great job. Works very hard to help people. So I just want to thank her. But I want to thank my...
Oh, no, I guess not. There's a provided authority to negotiate agreements addressing tariff barriers and implement those agreements without congressional approval. That's rough.
Whole family, my amazing children, and they are amazing children.
Won't tariffs force Chinese companies to lower their prices? No, that's not how tariffs. I don't know if you. I don't mean to be condescending to you at all. Do you understand what a tariff is? That makes, because what you're saying doesn't make any sense in any capacity. So just to be clear, what a tariff is a flat tax onto goods that come into the country. So if China's selling a particular good, let's say for $1, and they put a 20% tariff on it, that good is now going to cost $1.20 for the American consumer. The idea is to incentivize you to buy that same product in America. So like, let's say the American product costs $1.15. So now you're like, well, I might as well pay for the American $1.15 instead of the Chinese $1.20 that comes into the United States. And that's a tax. That's a burden for us. That's a huge burden for us. So, like, no, that's not true at all. Thank you for the $2 from Gelato GG. You should take a test about policy to vote. Maybe I should.
Now, we all think our children are amazing. Everybody here thinks their children are amazing, but that's a good thing when you think they are. But Don, Eric, Ivanka, Tiffany, Barron, there's Laura, Jared,
I'm happy I haven't heard anything
Kimberly,
from them,
Michael,
this kid's
thank you
like,
all. What a help.
Trump Jr. is annoying as shit. Barron seems chill. But the other two, Eric, that guy looks weird as fuck, okay?
My father-in-law, Victor, is tremendous. And we miss very much Melania's mother, Amalia.
Just so you guys know, this is going to raise the cost of TikTok shop items because every single thing that you get on the TikTok shop comes from AliExpress. Just so you know. So if you want, you could always look it up on there instead and get it for cheaper than buying it on TikTok shop.
Miss Amalia, don't we, huh? She would be very happy right now standing on this stage.
Because American companies won't be buying as much from China, so they will need to lower their prices. That's not how that works. I don't think, just trying to gain understanding, I know the importer pays the tariff. So that's not true. Okay. The tariff, the person, okay, so I think that they're, so just to be clear, the way that, what a tariff is it is just a flat tax on the goods coming into a country. Anytime anything is taxed, it is always passed on to the consumer in some capacity. That's why conservatives talk about lowering taxes, because they're like, that's the way the consumer pays less money. Okay, if you put a 20% tariff onto something that comes into the United States, we are paying for that tariff, nobody else. It's not going to lower prices at all. It's going to raise prices. That's why you have Elon Musk going on about how things are going to get a little bit tough when Trump first gets into office. So what you're saying is not correct. The idea is to incentivize production in America, right? But the problem is we do have limited factories. We already do end of stage production. And a lot of these very low wage, low skill labor jobs, they are going to be automated away almost instantaneously. And so like this probably isn't going to be good for the American taxpayer or the American worker. Thank you for the $5 from Abuler. Well, Papa, if I ever see you in IRL, the supersized McDonald's meal will be on me. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the $5 from Box. Who's ready for 4 more years of this idiot doing absolutely nothing again? Can we adopt thanks Trump as a slogan for nothing like Obama, please? Well, let's hope he does all right.
They should be so proud. She was a great woman, that one. Beautiful inside and out. She was a great woman. I want to be the first to congratulate our great, now I can say, Vice President-elect of the United States, J.D. Vance.
It's crazy that he's not running with Pence, because Pence wouldn't take the government for him. Yeah, I'm not glad that we're going to be pulling out of Ukraine, just to be clear, because somebody's saying that. You have to keep in mind that like when we show weakness to our allies, we're showing weakness around the world. Pulling out of our ally, letting Russia push into another country they have no authority to take over, that's a loss for us. Russia is antithetical to our existence. They do not have freedom of speech. They don't have the freedom to vote. It's a bad country with a bad government. Good people, but a very bad government. Us showing weakness and letting Russia push a little bit more into another area is not good for us. It makes us look weak, and it makes our allies think of us as a little weaker, and makes them less likely to ally with us in the future when it comes to trade. It's not a good thing. It's an economic hardship for us, which sucks. But it's a necessary hardship for us to maintain that world presence so that it doesn't become Russia. And that's one of the problems. That's something you have to keep in mind. Like, it is not good that we were going to probably, yeah, no, that's a good argument. Saying too bad that Kamala didn't say any of that. I agree. And no, I'm not seeing it as too black and white. I think you have to understand like how antithetical Russia is to us. But like that is something that Kamala should have focused on. I agree. I honestly agree with that. Thank you for the $2 from Ellington Moose. Forgive me, Father, for I've gooned. Incredible.
And his absolutely remarkable and beautiful wife, Ushabez.
We applauded Ukraine. Ukraine agrees to not join NATO. Russia stops war. Ukraine already agreed not to join NATO. That's not how this works. I don't know where you're getting your information from, brother, but they already agreed not to join NATO. Russia's trying to annex parts of Ukraine. That's what they want to do. They want to take what Russia has done historically is they have killed Ukrainians through the means of starvation. They have cut off supply lines and starved Ukrainians and then implanted Russians. And now what they're doing is saying, hey, we should be able to have this land. That's what's happening. It's not as simple as all they want is for Ukraine to agree not to be part of NATO. They already have that.
And he is a feisty guy, isn't he? You know, I've said, go into the enemy camp. And you know, the enemy camp is certain networks. And a lot of people don't like to, sir, do I have to do that? He just goes, okay. Which one? CNN, MSDNC? He'll say,
no, that doesn't imply Ukraine will no longer exist. It implies that parts of Ukraine are probably going to be annexed by Russia. Thank you for the $2 from Bear Claws. I blame the 15 to 20 million that didn't turn out. It is what it is, man.
hey, all right, thank you very much. He actually looks fun. He's still like the only guy I've ever seen. He really looks forward to it, and then he just goes and absolutely obliterates them.
I think that there was a lot of disinformation coming from Trump's campaign, and there was no level of actual information coming out of Kamala's campaign. Because I feel like the questions I'm answering to people, they're surprised. They're surprised at things I'm saying in here. I just feel like Kamala missed an opportunity to educate people about what's going on.
Say a couple of words. Absolutely obliterates them. I've ever seen. He really looks forward to it, and then he. Which one? CNN like this, sir, do I have to do that? He just goes, okay. Which one? CNN, MSDNC? He'll say, all right, thank you very much. He actually looks fun. He's still like the only guy I've ever seen. He really looks forward to it, and then he just goes and absolutely obliterates them. Say a couple of words.
I think this might be a nice time to not constantly try to demonize the progressive media, because I'm not going to lie. Like, again, I think that the Russia narrative really, the Russian collusion narrative, I think that destroyed media confidence for a lot of conservatives when it came to the confidence of progressive media. Because what was going on the entire time? That Mueller report was very necessary. If you look at the Mueller report, we found out that Russia was trying to get Trump elected and that there were indictments around Trump, but the Russian collusion narrative didn't quite play out. And when you go on every single day, say Trump definitely colluded with Russia every day, boom, 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 for 2 years, when everything's over and it's like, yeah, there's some indictments and Russia wanted Trump to win, but like there wasn't like collusion, all of a sudden that narrative pops and nobody believes the progressive media anymore, and that's what has hurt the confidence of those people. But to be clear, Fox is just as, if not more, guilty. I mean, they had to fire Tucker Carlson because when they were pushing the whole Dominion thing, the whole election fraud thing, Tucker Carlson was in text messages saying he knew it was all fake, and they were still pushing it because they wanted to keep up with the ratings of other conservative media sites like OAN. Like both, you know, that's pretty bad. That's worse. It's really bad to sensationalize narratives, which was the progressive media was doing. But Fox News in some instances is just lying, right? So this is just no need to compare. But like, let's not pretend that Fox or conservative media isn't just as bad, if not worse. Honestly, thank you for $5 from Lee. Hey, Papa, since Donald Trump is now the new president, which country do you think is the best country to move to and start a new life? Love you, big guy. Nowhere. Don't be a pussy. Stay in America.
Well, Mr. President, I appreciate you allowing me to join you on this incredible journey. I thank you for the trust that you placed in me. And I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America.
That's certainly something.
And under President Trump's leadership, we're never going to stop fighting for you, for your dreams, for the future of your children. And after the greatest political comeback in American history, we're going to lead the greatest economic comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
Let's hope. Like I said, things aren't that bad right now, but hopefully it doesn't get worse. Thank you for $5 from Jado on YouTube. Do you think that this will embolden or eliminate the far left's movement? If we lost because Hassan convinced him Kamal is bad for Gaza, wait till Trump. I don't care about online politics. I think it's time that we get somebody who's not a fucking pussy on like the on the like the progressive side. We need like a Democrat who's not like a fucking pussy, honestly. Thank you for $5 from Master Don. Master Don, hey God, what does Nick F think of that the vice president's married to a minority? I don't know. I wonder.
Thank you very much. He's turned out to be a good choice. I took a little heat at the beginning, but he was, I knew the brain was a good one, about as good as it gets. And we love the family, and we're going to have a great 4 years, and we're going to turn our country around, make it something very special.
JD Vance did basically
lost that little thing called special. We have to make it so. We're going to make this so great. It's the greatest country and potentially the greatest country in the world by far. And right now we're going to just work very hard to get all of that back.
I hope so.
We're going to make it the best it's ever been. We can do that. We just, if we had to wait longer, I don't know. It was going bad, and it was going bad.
Things were going better. They were getting better. Just to be clear, things were getting into a better spot.
Fast.
True.
We're going to have to seal up those borders, and we're going to have to let people come into our country.
Okay. Thank you for $5 from Duchess. Big fan, Papa God. I think Kamala overstated the black vote that she had. A lot of black people are not online voted for Trump quietly. Did she? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Thank you for $5 from Bench Motor. Papa, do you actually think Trump supports Project 2025 because he's denied it, but Democrats keep attacking to him? I hope not. I don't think so.
We want people to come back in, but we have to let them come back in, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in.
But that's the thing, is that they're coming in legally through the asylum seeking process, and this is what makes me not have a lot of confidence for Trump. I don't think he understands the problem at the border.
Legally. Let me also express my tremendous appreciation for Susie and Chris, the job you did. Susie, come here. Come here, Susie. Chris, come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay sort of in the back, let me tell you. The Ice Maiden. We call her the Ice Maiden. Come here, Chris. Come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay in the background. She's not in the background. Come here, say something.
Wow,
this wasn't expected, but I just want to thank, obviously, President Trump for this journey. It was a great one, and he's a hell of a candidate, and he's going to be a hell of a great 47th president. And this team that we had,
I keep saying I hope, because I really do hope. I have such a low amount of confidence for Trump, and I really hope that I'm wrong.
Of course, even my boss, Susie Wiles, the best. Thank you.
I'm so demoralized.
Thank you, and thank you, Susie. I've never seen her be shy before. Susie, they're great. Everybody up here is great. Everybody up here is very special. But the Trump, who did you say? Oh, let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon.
This is like almost funny how fucking preposterous this is. Thank you for the $5 from Marcus Barnes on YouTube. Hey, I think it's time we have the conversation about men moving to the right. That definitely has something to do with this election. Sure, I guess so. I mean, men are always more right-leaning. I don't know what conversation you want to have. Thank you for $5 from Box. I'll forgive the orange blob if he promises to deport his son. He can do whatever he wants after that. Okay.
Amazing guy.
Well, I disagree.
Sitting together tonight. You know, he spent 2 weeks in Philadelphia and different parts of Pennsylvania campaigning You know, he sent the rocket up 2 weeks ago, and I saw that rocket, and I saw it coming down. I saw it. It was, when it left, it was beautiful, shiny white. When it came down,
how do I have low confidence for somebody that actually did something in his presidency? Because Trump didn't really do a lot in his presidency. I don't mean to say that to be like sensationalized. I love America, but he didn't really do very much. Like in his first presidency, he inherited a decent economy, cut taxes, and raised the deficit pre-COVID. And then, like, he, pushed a conspiracy theory that COVID wasn't real, which made that a little more difficult. He didn't pass any border wall legislation. He didn't do anything about the Affordable Care Act. Like, what do you really feel like he did in his first term? I'm just being honest with you. You can educate me. I have no problem with the conversation. I don't know what you're talking about. He didn't really do very much in his first term.
it didn't look so pretty. It was going 10,000 miles an hour, and it was burning like hell. I said, what happened to your paint job? He said, we've never made a paint that could withstand that kind of heat.
Wow, incredible.
And but I saw it come down and turn around. And it was, it's like 22 stories tall, by the way. It looks a little smaller than that, but it's big. And it came down and down.
And I want to be clear that the tax cuts surged the economy, but that wasn't the time for tax cuts. We were having record numbers when it came to like stocks already under Obama, but he was lowering our deficit, and Trump increased it unnecessarily. Like, he wasn't being a fiscally responsible president.
And you saw all that fire burning, and I'm saying only Elon can do this. It must be an Elon. And I tell the story. I told it last night. I had a man on the phone. I had the screen muted, no sound. I was talking to a very important man, happens to be here. And a very important guy, one of the most important people in, I would say, the country, actually.
Do I think Trump would have done better if COVID didn't happen? He didn't do that well before COVID, is the point that I'm making. Like, again, our economy was in a good spot when he inherited it, and then he surged the deficit to give tax cuts mostly to rich people. It wasn't a solid show. What we really need to do is get a hold of technology and figure out how that fits into our society, as that takes away our jobs.
But, I was president, and now it looks like I was going to be maybe president again, so I figured I could ask him to hold. So I asked him to hold. And especially because you're going to be president again, they hold. So I took the phone down, and I'm looking at the screen. I'm seeing this crazy thing that's going around and coming down. It looks like it's going to crash into the gantry. And I said, oh, no. And I said, do me a favor. Do you mind holding for a couple of minutes? I want to see this. I thought it was a space-age movie or something. I put the phone down. Bad part, I didn't pick it up for 45 minutes, and he was holding. But this spaceship came down, and I saw those engines firing, and it looked like it was over. It was going to smash, and then I saw the fire pour out from the left side, and I put it.
You hope that he follows through, no taxes on tips. I don't. Well, that's the whole problem, right? Is that I don't think that this is the problem. So many of these older people like Trump and Biden and even Kamala are so out of touch with the reality of what's going on in our country and like why we're all feeling this economic squeeze. It's like I really don't want to understate this, how much it is technology. We're seeing fewer jobs and less money circulating through the economy because of those fewer jobs, because of technology. There are whole towns that are dependent on the factories where like 80% of the people in those factories get laid off because a robot can do their job, and they end up on unemployment or disability, and they just end up rotting and having nowhere to go because our current welfare system doesn't help people rise. It just helps people not fall. It creates a floor, but it doesn't help people thrive. And we're just getting fucked. Like, that's the biggest problem. And nobody's talking about that. So they come in and like, let's do a tax cut. And it's like, okay, but like, how do we really deal with this new technological surge that we have?
It's straight, and it came down so gently, and then it wrapped those arms around it, and it held it, and just like you hold your baby at night, your little baby. And it was a beautiful thing to see, and I called Elon. I said, Elon, was that you? He said, yes, it was. I said, who else can do that? Can Russia do it? No. Can China do it? No. Can the United States do it other than you? No. Nobody can do that. I said, that's why I love you, Elon. That's great.
Why does he keep saying Elon?
And like when we had the tragic Hurricane Helene, and it hit.
Which, unfortunately, he pushed misinformation about how Biden didn't provide FEMA instantaneously.
In particular, it hit North Carolina. They were really devastated. The water. This was a big water, as big as we've ever seen, water hurricane. It built lakes out of nothing. Fields became lakes, and And the danger was unbelievable. And the people from North Carolina came to me and they said, would it be possible, at all possible, for you to speak to Elon Musk? We need Starlink.
Okay, I think Starlink is like Wi-Fi, which is not a bad thing.
I said, what's Starlink? It's a form of communication. So I called Elon, and I'll tell you what he had, and it was very dangerous.
Papa, why does Trump have a lot of love? Like, what has he done to gain it? You want the honest answer to that question? The honest answer is because he's not a fucking pussy. Like, Trump's policies and rhetoric are horrible. He's a liar. He's full of shit. He's dishonest. He's very ineffective. He can't get both sides of the aisle to come together or anything. But he just says whatever the fuck he wants to say, and I think people resonate with that because they're tired of the political masturbatory session every time that somebody gets on fucking TV, where they'll say something. They'll say like, hey, here's some information happening, but then you have to look into that information because it's always out of context in whichever way that whatever politician wants to push it, and they're getting tired of that, you know. And I think, not that Trump doesn't do some of that stuff, but like he just speaks like a New Yorker, and I think people resonate with that. I think that's the reality of it.
Just people would die. They had no communication. All the wires went down. I called Elon Musk. I said, Elon, you have something called Starlink. Is that right? Yes, I do. What the hell is it? He said, it's a communication.
What's the left version of Trump? Me. I don't know, dude.
System that's very good. I said, Elon, they need it really, really badly in North Carolina. Can you get it? He had that there so fast. It was incredible. So, and it was great. It saved a lot of lives. He saved a lot of lives. But he's a character. He's a special guy. He's a super genius. We have to protect our geniuses. We don't have that many of them. We have to protect our super genius.
I'm sure Elon's a smart guy, but just to be clear, Elon often is credited with like the creation of Tesla and all that. He bought all of his company. Like, he didn't really create anything. Just to be clear, but
geniuses. I want to thank some of the guys. You know, we have up here today the U.S. Open champion. He's fantastic golfer, slightly longer than me. It's a ball a little bit longer than me, just a little bit. Bryson DeChambeau is up here someplace.
Okay.
What happened to Bryson? Where is he?
It's funny how we went like anti-government establishment and we went like full corporate establishment. So now it's like we got Trump, Elon Musk, Dana fucking whatever. From the UFC, Dana White, and Joe Rogan. Like, it's like, oh, it's just corporate establishment here.
Bryson. Oh, he was shot. He's hitting balls. Oh, he's on the way.
I just don't see how you don't think Trump did much in your presidency. Well, did you respond to what I said? I asked you a question. I said, what did Trump really do? He inherited a good economy. He cut taxes, which was kind of unnecessary. What did he really do, though, like in his presidency that was meaningful? That's the only question I asked you. And your response was, I don't see how you could see that. Just give me an answer. I'm open to the conversation. He didn't do very much in his presidency. He made an already good economy a little better with tax cuts that were irresponsible and surged our annual federal deficit before COVID even hit.
He's hitting balls.
And then when COVID hit, he pushed a conspiracy that it wasn't as bad as it actually was, where people even to this day are sitting here saying that the economic shutdown was a Democrat ploy to ruin America. It's insane. He did more harm than good.
Bryson. Oh, look at him. He's got a great career going. Great U.S. Open, Bryson. That's a fantastic job. And we also have a man, Dana White, who has done some job.
Jesus Christ.
He's a tough guy. So Dana started UFC. And came to me, do you mind if I use your... Nobody wanted to give him a rinse because they said it's a rough sport, a little rough. And I helped him out a little bit, and I went, and they said, this is the roughest sport I've ever seen, but I began to like it, and he loved it, and nobody's done a better job in sports. And you know, he's a very motivational kind of a guy, what he does. He gets these fighters, and they really go at it, and it's become one of the most successful sports enterprises anywhere at any time.
That's true.
It's doing so well. I'd like to ask Dana just to say a couple of words because people love to hear from him.
Okay. Let's hear it. This is quite a speech.
Nobody.
You don't get me started on how people think he's racist. Well, just to be clear, I think I can understand why people think Trump is racist. I think there's something to be said about one of the things that he ran on in 2016, or for 2016, but in 2016, was that Obama wasn't a real American. That's racist. Obama was an American, and this like constant questioning of like his birth certificate and where he comes from and this, that is quite literally racist. It's racist to question our only black president's actually authenticity of them being an American. So when you do something like that, which is a pretty big move without apologizing, every single thing you do moving forward is going to be seen through a lens of racism, whether you think it is or isn't racist. So just to be clear, like, I can totally see why people think he's racist. I don't know. That's pretty obvious to me. So
Deserves this more than.
I didn't respond to my other fact. You said that he lowered black unemployment. Like, that's nice. And that he put funding in for HBCUs. That's cool, but that's not even close to worth the massive deficit that he inflated us with and his response to COVID being subpar. So, yeah, that's not like, there are good and bad things, and then there's a spectrum of good and bad. There's some positives to Trump's presidency. Overall, it was a failure, in my opinion. So.
Him, and nobody deserves this more than his family does. This is what happens when the machine comes after you. What you've seen over the last several years, this is what it looks like. Couldn't stop him. He keeps going forward. He doesn't quit. He's the most resilient, hard-working man I've ever met in my life. His family are incredible people. This is karma, ladies and gentlemen. He deserves this.
Yeah, maybe we deserve this. Maybe us as America, maybe we deserve the blight of Donald Trump. I really hope he does well. But I feel like he's not.
They deserve it as a family. I want to thank some people real quick. I want to thank the Nelk boys, Aiden Ross.
What? Why? Why would you thank the Nelk boys and Aiden Ross?
Theo Vaughn.
Okay, I get that one, I guess.
With the boys, and last but not least, the mighty and powerful Joe Rogan.
I don't understand the Nelk boys, and especially Aiden Ross. That's what I don't understand. Did Biden do more harm than good? No, he did more good than harm. He just inherited COVID and then like Russia pushing into Ukraine, which was a big economic stressor for us. Given the circumstances, I think he did well. Given Trump's circumstances, I don't think he did well. Because overall, Trump's numbers were good, especially pre-COVID. But given the circumstances, he didn't do very well. Overall, Biden's numbers weren't that great. But given the circumstances, he did well. But thanking Aiden Ross is wild work,
thank you, America. Thank you. Have a good night.
I can understand Joe Rogan because at least he has like the biggest podcast ever. But maybe Kamala really should have. Maybe she really should have went on Joe Rogan to defend herself.
That is a piece of work. No, he's an amazing. He's really an amazing guy. But most of all, I want to thank the millions of hardworking Americans across the nation who have always been the heart and soul of this really great movement. We've been through so much together, and today you showed up in
What's happening?
record numbers to deliver a victory like really, I probably like no other. This was something special, and we're gonna pay you back. We're gonna do the best job.
What the fuck is up with the camera?
We're gonna turn it around. It's got to be turned around. It's got to be turned around fast, and we're gonna turn it around. We're gonna do it in every way, with so many ways, but we're gonna do it in every way. This will forever be remembered as
the Matrix is trying to cut off his speech.
the day the American people regained control of their country.
How do I feel about people saying queer people and women are going to die since he won? Well, I don't think that's going to happen. But he clearly does not have a priority for gay or trans or women's rights, if I'm being honest with you. That's why he was in support of getting rid of Roe v. Wade. I don't think he wants to ban it, but I don't think that he cares if it does get banned. It's not something that's a high priority for him.
So I just want to say that on behalf of this great group of people, these are hardworking people. These are fantastic people, and we can add
what's happening right
a few names like Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
It's not my YouTube. It's the live stream that's the problem.
And he's going to help make America healthy again.
We'll see if we can do it. I think his biggest thing is take fluoride out of the water. Maybe it'd be healthier if we could figure out a get the fuck off your fat ass initiative. Like, I could definitely use that initiative. But there's got to be, he's really got to teach it in schools more than anything else. But I don't think removing fluoride from our water is going to necessarily be positive. But I guess also a lot of other countries don't even have it in the water, so maybe it won't be negative. Maybe it'll just be a thing. I don't know.
And now he's a great guy, and he really means it. He wants to do some things, and we're going to let him go to it. I just said, but Bobby, leave the oil to me. We have more liquid gold, oil and gas. We have more liquid gold than any country in the world, more than Saudi Arabia. We have more than Russia. Bobby, stay away from the liquid gold. Other than that, go have a good time, Bobby. We're going to be paying down debt. We're going to be reducing taxes.
Well, just to be clear, I just want to be very clear. He's probably not, you can't really pay down debt and reduce taxes at the same time. And like we saw, Donald Trump inherited an annual federal deficit of $650 billion a year. And he inflated it to almost $1 trillion before COVID hit because of his tax cuts. We are not going to be paying off debt. He's going to inherit a stable economy, and then he is going to spend like he did last time when he inherited a stable economy, instead of get us into a good spot where we're lowering our deficit and trying to start paying off the debts that we owe. So
we can do things that nobody else can do. Nobody else is going to be able to do it. China doesn't have what we have. Nobody has what we have.
Okay.
But we have the greatest people also. Maybe that's the most important thing. This campaign has been so historic in so many ways. We've built the biggest, the broadest, the most unified coalition.
They built something.
They've never seen anything like it in all of American history. They've never seen it. Young and old, men and women, rural and urban. And we had them all helping us tonight, when you think.
Sure.
I mean,
I guess so. Thank you for the $5 from Ellington Moose. UK doesn't have fluoride in their water, and look at them. Do you want to be like, no, I guess I don't.
I was looking at it.
Do I think that relations between China and Russia will improve? Maybe. I mean, in Trump's defense, he was pretty, I think from what I remember, he was pretty good against China. He implemented trade tariffs against China to try to get better deals. And that I was on board with. Russia, I don't think so. I think that I genuinely think that, well, I know for a fact that Russia wanted Trump to win in 2016, or maybe they just wanted Hillary to lose. I don't really know. He seems too buddy-buddy with Russia. I think he would let them get away with too much, like taking over parts of Ukraine. I'm not really inspired at that. I'm not really feeling particularly confident about his relationship with Russia. China, maybe. Russia, not so much.
I was watching it. They had some great analysis of the people that voted for us. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. They came from all corners, union, non-union, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American, Muslim American. We had every.
What's CAP? What are you saying that's CAP?
Everybody, and it was beautiful. It was a historic realignment, uniting citizens of all backgrounds around a common core of common sense. You know, we're the party of common sense.
That's not true.
We want to have borders. We want to have security.
See, that I want borders and security too. I just don't think that he has a meaningful way to deal with our border problem.
We want to have things be good, safe. We want great education. We want a strong and powerful military, and ideally we don't have to use it. You know, we had no wars. 4 years we had no wars, except we defeated.
Well, he means no new wars.
ISIS.
He won't just let Russia do what they want. I disagree. I just genuinely disagree. I think he's too buddy with them. You know, and he also exacerbated tensions in the Middle East when he didn't bring Palestine in on the peace talks between Israel and other Middle Eastern countries. So, like, it's not. I think you have too much confidence for him worldwide. But thank you from official Patreon. For $5, do you think Trump will do something about Flint, Michigan, or the problems we have here that need addressing? No, of course not. Why would he? No, that's probably a local government issue too.
We defeated ISIS in record time. But we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. But this is also a massive victory for democracy and for freedom. Together, we're going to unlock America's glorious destiny, and we're going to achieve the most incredible future for our people. Yesterday, as I stood at my last stop on the campaign trail, I'll never be doing a rally again. Can you believe it? I think we've done 900 rallies approximately from the. Can you
imagine after he's no longer president, he just does more rallies for fun? That'd be interesting.
Imagine. 900, 901, something, a lot of rallies. And it was sad. Everybody was sad. Many people, I said, this is our last rally. But now we're going on to something that's far more important, because the rallies were used for us to be put in this position.
I think he's grieving that he's not going to be able to do rallies anymore.
Well, we can really help our country. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make our country better than it ever has been.
Let's hope.
And I said that many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason.
Okay. As a punishment for us. Yeah. Just being stupid.
And that reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness. And now we are going to fulfill that mission together.
It's a win-win. Maybe Trump does really well and we're all wrong, or he does really poorly and we realize how fucking insane Trump is.
We're going to fulfill that mission. The task before us will not be easy, but I will bring every ounce of energy, spirit, and fight that I have in my soul to the job that you've entrusted to me. This is a great job. There's no job like this. This is
like this one.
The most important job in the world. Just as I did in my first term, we had a great first term, a great, great first term. I will govern by a simple motto: promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises.
Let's hope he does that.
Nothing will stop me from keeping my word to you, the people. We will make America safe, strong, prosperous, powerful, and free again. And
well, in Trump's defense, we are playing Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories under a Biden administration, and that is a pretty bad game. So.
I'm asking every citizen all across our land to join me in this noble and righteous endeavor. That's what it is. It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite.
I genuinely hope, because a lot of the division comes from Trump.
And we're going to try. We're going to try. We have to try. And it's going to happen. Success will bring us together. I've seen that.
I love it. I love fortune cookie Donald Trump.
I saw that in the first term when we became more and more successful. People started.
If you really think about it, Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories was the biggest nuke ever dropped in retaliation to the R2 nukes that we dropped. You know,
together, success is going to bring us together, and we are going to start by all putting America first. We have to put our country first for at least a period of time. We have to fix it, because together we can truly make America great again for all Americans. So I want to just tell you what a great honor this is. I want to thank you. I will not let you down. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, that's the end of that. All I have to say is I just hope I hope it goes well, and God bless America.